to LOA Today. I'm Walt Thiessen.
With me today is Debbie G of Spirituality Gone Wild.
This is your Daily Dose of Happy. We are so happy you decided to join us today.
And happy Friday to everybody. We are indeed glad that you are joining us today. Debbie G is actually going to be joining us in just a few minutes. She's getting home from an appointment at a later hour than she expected, but she'll be jumping in on the program at any moment. Neo, I think, is off doing some paramotoring because that's what he loves to do this time of year. So, I haven't heard exactly what's going on with him, but I have a feeling that's what he's doing. We may still hear from him. You know how he is. He'll jump in 10 minutes left in the program. Hey, I didn't want to just leave you guys hanging there. So, he may just pull one of those today. But that's okay because in the meantime, first of all, I want to introduce our special guest today. Her name is Tracey, Whittet, and she's basically an energy coach. She's basically somebody who helps people with their energy in a wide variety of ways, which we're familiar with because, Tracey, I actually used to have a co-host named Linda Armstrong who was an energy coach and did a lot of the similar kinds of things to what you do. So this is very much within our ballpark and stuff that we've, kind of explored in the past. Now, I also want to let people know I want to try doing something a little bit different today. Now, those of you who have been listening to the podcast for many years know pretty much what the trajectory of the show has been. I started off Joel Elston for a number of years with my co-host. We did a weekly. Then we went to a daily. I had a number of co-hosts who came on. That worked out really, really well. People were really responding to it. We were loving it because we were doing these deep dives into these great topics. The better we got to know each other, the more deep that we went with each of the conversations. But even that started to get stale after a little while because we knew each other so well. So, and we've had a lot of co-hosts that have come through over the years. Some have decided to stay for a while. Some left after a while. So there was a bit of a churn that went on there, and that helped a bit. But it still was getting to the point, like this last December, January, where I could just feel it was starting to get a little bit stale, even though I have these wonderful co-hosts. So I said, okay. When February came around, I decided let's start bringing guests on. We hadn't done that for a while, so let's bring some guests on. And that's been working out really nicely. We've had some great people coming on to the show. But I was even feeling it there. It's like, okay, you get to know the guests. You do this deep interview with them. You find out about all their stuff, what their background was, what their story is, how they played out, the stuff they learned. That's great. But even that starts to get a little bit stale. I'm thinking, what on earth is going on here? What's it take to get this really deep dive feel going again? And that's when it clicked. I said, we got these new people coming on every week that we don't know yet. So we're going to be getting to know them. Why not do a deep dive with them? Because we know how the deep dive works. We know how great it is to have really new and different perspectives when doing a deep dive. Let's do it with the guests. So, starting today, that's what we're going to start doing. We're going to be not just getting to know a guest, we're going to do a deep dive on a topic. And I can't even tell you what the topics are going to be, because I don't know yet. We're going to find out what Spirit has to tell me, or I'm going to pick it up off a Facebook group, or we're going to get letters, and we have done that in the past. You guys know that. Those of you who have sent emails in saying, hey, here's something, I have a problem I'm dealing with, can you help me with this one? We love those. You know how much we love those, so feel free to do that. But one way or another, we're going to be doing a deep dive topic as part of each episode. So, with that as a preamble, Tracey, first of all, welcome to the program. Second of all, I see Neil starting to log in, so we're going to get a chance to talk to him in a moment. But how are you today? You're looking good.
I'm feeling pretty good. In Santa Fe, New Mexico, we have really high winds right now. So the pollen is just flowing, and we're sneezing and loving it.
Yes. Well, having dealt with a cold for the last few days, I am sympathetic. I know exactly how that feels. I am very pleased to report that I am on the other side. I'm about done. I sound a lot worse than I actually feel. I feel pretty good. But and there is our friend Neo. Neo, hey, I didn't know if you were going to make it today. How you doing, guy?
Hello, everyone. And Walt, yeah, you sound terrible.
I know, it's awful. Really, I don't sound like me.
I've never heard you sound anything other than Walt. So, yes, I feel bad. I'm like, some Robitussin.
Right, yeah. No, actually, I've gotten past all the medication stuff now. I'm just kind of like in the healing stage, which means I'm really near the end of this thing. But, of course, that's when you sound worst, right? Because your throat's all raw and so forth. But I don't even have a sore throat. I'm literally past all that. I just sound that. I got the after effects going on. And here comes Debbie G. Hey there, Deb. How's it going?
It's good. It's good.
It's good? Okay.
Yeah. It is.
How's recovery?
It's good. That's good too.
Nice.
No, that's good.
That's
support.
totally good. That's where forgive my tardiness. I was a few minutes late. I had to go do the thingy with the checkup and the doctor. So
everything's
Tracey,
good.
it's nice to meet you.
Hey, it's nice to meet you
It's
too.
nice
Thank
to meet
you
you,
for
Tracey.
having me and inviting me. I love it. Fun.
So I'm going to tell you guys, I just gave this little intro to the audience, but you guys didn't hear it, so I'm going to give you a quick version of it.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Did somebody did you just like trade yourself in for a nose?
No, I trade myself in for the other end of a cold. See, you really did come in right at the end of all this great conversation.
Are you drinking the hot lemon and honey and stuff too?
I actually don't try that, but I'll try that one of these
I
times.
swear it does work. And eat some
I've
garlic.
heard.
Eat some garlic.
I mean, the way I look at it, I don't really care at this point because I feel good. The last couple of days I wasn't feeling good. Now I'm feeling good, so, the voice will come back. I'm not worried about that. I just worry about how I'm feeling.
Well, I'm glad that you're feeling better too. And it's a beautiful weekend to rest and relax and all that good stuff.
It is.
Tell us all about Tracey.
Well,
Tracey.
before we get to Tracey, I got to give you a clue in because I just gave a clue into the audience, okay? We're
All
going to
right.
try doing something special and different starting today.
Okay.
And I won't go through the whole thing like I did earlier, but I'll just kind of touch on it briefly. In the past, we have had co-hosts. Before I had one co-host, and then I had multiple co-hosts, and that worked out great because we have all these great perspectives. But over time, it's gotten a little bit stale because I know you guys, and you know me, and you know each other. And it's like we can almost predict what the other person's going to say. And so, like a couple months ago, I said, "All right, let's start bringing some guests in," and that was cool too. But even that, in a short time, I'm realizing that can get stale because, well, you're just doing the same thing. You're doing an interview every time. Where's the deep dive stuff that we did when we were co-hosts? So I thought, okay, let's marry the two together. Let's bring on guests and do a deep dive into a topic. So we'll spend some time, like in this case, getting to know Tracey, spend 10, 15 minutes on that. And then let's pick a topic and just do a deep dive like we always do. Let's see what happens when we combine those factors together. Because now we've got a brand new perspective with our guest. We know our own perspectives because we know each other. I bet you it turns into an interesting mix. So that's what we're going to try today.
I love that. I'm all about that. I would love to take a deep dive. But I want to tell you all, listen. Something happened this morning that I got to tell you about.
Okay.
I brought Jana Danielson on. And we talked all about the cooch ball. Or the gooch ball for men if you so choose. Let's get into talking about Tracey, but we'll take a deep dive into some serious self-care that I've never even had in my mind before.
Cool.
I will promise you, Tracey, you would love this. It was so good. It was so good. It's called the cooch ball, and it's literally a ball, and you use it to work out your pelvic floor muscles so that they become stronger. And there's all this research in it and all this, and I was just sitting there going, wow, this is interesting. I don't know how many of you ever thought about your pelvic floor before.
Never.
Yeah, Tracey, I'll put a link here in our private chat for you too. But It is seriously, this was the most fascinating thing I've ever seen. And the deeper dive about this that maybe we can get into is the fact that we avoid talking about our private parts. We avoid talking about these parts of our body that some of us may have felt shame for or may have felt whatever for, and we don't give it the attention it needs, and therefore then it suffers. But to understand if you know how muscles atrophy if you're not using them right, did you know our pelvic floor does the same? That's what Jana was saying.
Yep.
Very interesting. All right.
Isn't that cool?
All right, so we've got our topic. See, now I just lay it out there and bam, automatically we got a topic. You just delivered it like you knew I was going to say that. Very well done, I have to say.
I delivered cooch.
You did. And on cue. That was the best part.
Neil's face.
Neil is just shaking his head oh my God, here we go.
I was skimming through Facebook earlier, and I got a little notification that there was something Debbie G and Cooch, and I was like, there she is. That's her. So, yeah.
We sparked the G vibe. The Cooch was awesome. It was great. Cooch ball. Spark the G vibe is your gratitude vibration for all you dirty minds out there.
There you go.
But if that's where you went, then that's probably where you needed to go. So just do that.
Well, you kind of set it up. Let's be honest. When you
Yeah,
talked about private parts,
I
really
do.
one thing leads to another. I mean, come on.
I set it up hard.
You did beautifully.
That's how I roll.
Well, you do. Yeah. So let's get to know Tracey.
I was going to say Tracey.
Tracy's really an interesting person, and I say that I started to talk about this before you guys came on. Tracy's interesting in a couple ways because of what she does, and also because it's similar to what a previous co-host used to do. Linda Armstrong, who did Fridays with me before you guys did, was an energy coach, which is very similar to what Tracy does. She's all about healing with energy. So I won't try to spoil it because she's actually better at explaining it than I am. So Tracy, first of all, once again, welcome. Second of all, tell us more about what you do.
Wow. Well, I guess I'm an energy work junkie in the sense that, I worked in corporate America for 40 years and I always did energy work on the side. And I was interested in Reiki, became Reiki 1, 2, 3 master, theta healing, you name it, Ewan method. One of the really cool ones is access consciousness. I love access consciousness. Because,
I love it.
do you know that work?
Linda introduced us to access consciousness. This is perfect.
It is
I love
so easy to change stuff. You don't even need to know the story, which is fabulous. And then one day I was driving. I lived in Colorado at the time, and I was driving to work, and I heard, call Vicky. And I'm like, what? So I called this woman, and I found out that she did energy clearings. And when I got on her table, I realized that they gave structure. This class, multidimensional body balancing, gave structure to what I did intuitively or naturally. So basically I share what I hear and I see when I work with someone, and it can work long distance on Zoom or it can work, in person. So this multidimensional body balancing, if you think about it, we're 1% of us is physical and 99% is invisible, and we're a hologram. And so we have a physical body. And they're called inner bodies, which is always so weird to me because it's always depicted like you have a physical body and a super physical body, astral, causal, like your past lives or memories, Akashic records, whatever, mental, etheric, spiritual. It just goes out. But they're really in. So that was always kind of confusing about the mirror about that. And then we all have wounds and disconnects. Let's face it, we're in a human body. So if you have a wound or a disconnect, it can get stuck. That energy, that consciousness can get stuck in the past. So I ask people, what do you want to work on? Physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. And they'll say, oh, my right knee hurts, or, this or that. They'll just say things. And then I have this map, and it's kind of busy, but it's all these words. Whoops, let me show it like that. And I tune into the person prior to working on them. Because sometimes people go, oh, I don't know, whatever comes through. So I don't really like to call myself a psychic. I don't know what I am. I don't know how this works. But basically, one time I was working on someone that I didn't know. I put my little cards out in Longmont, Colorado at a health food store. And this person came to the home office and laid on the bodywork table. And I was doing some Reiki on her, I guess. And then all of a sudden I heard this word transmosis. And I had a whiteboard behind me, so I wrote transmosis down, like, what is this? And so I would ask channelers, I would ask everybody, and nobody had heard of it before. So I think it's a divinely appointed term and energy work that I am uniquely gifted to do. Okay. So when I work with someone, and I haven't really worked with groups because then it gets kind of generic, but when I work with someone, it's really sacred. It's really sacred work. And it's very confidential, it's very sacred, and it's very, not even woo-woo, it's very spiritual. So when I'm working with someone, what happens, I'm like a lawnmower. You like pull, and then you get going, and then it just kind of like is a flow, a divine flow. So let's say we wanted to work with you, Walt, and on your father's side of the family, on the ancestral line, there are 20 generations back. So we need to clean up those 20 generations of traumatic wounds and disconnects that happened to them without even needing to know the story. So we kind of place that whole genetic line and we place them in the separation room. Again, this is all holographic. And we bind and gag all the misqualified energies, and then we transmute them, and then we send them off to where they get to go, where they've earned the right to be. So it kind of like we use light. So there's violet consuming flame, which clears, cleanses, heals, harmonizes, and balances whatever area that we're working on. So if it's a wound or a disconnect, usually they're in the nervous system, the endocrine system, or the nervous or chakra system. And they're all tied together because it's all one thing. But it could be like in the astral body of the nervous system. So you pull up the nervous system astral body, and I can kind of see it with my mind's eye. and I just call in the light to clean it up. And then the world likes a vacuum and it'll fill it up if you clean it out. So we fill it up with golden liquid light and we activate the upward spirals. I have all these phrases that I learned in this multidimensional body balancing class, but now I'm off script. Now things are coming in that I cannot describe that is like normal. But I'm not normal, and I've never been normal, and that's okay.
Well, you fit in perfectly. Yeah.
So I am curious, what is your definition of transosmosis?
It is basically uplifting the recipient's energy to that is most appropriate for that person, to source energy. So it's like cleaning out all the stuff. It's like spiritual hygiene. You get a nice shower and you get all cleaned up and it uplifts you and you remember who you are. That's what Spirit told me. It's an assimilation of higher energies to uplift the recipient to source energy. And that's different for everybody because there's different levels of consciousness and where people are at and what they can receive in that moment and that kind of a thing. So we spent about a half an hour talking about what you think you need, and I got what you need, and then we just consecrate the session, call in their guides. This is so important. You call in your guides of 100% pure divine light. Because the first time I had a clearing, when I got on that table, she called in 100% pure divine light, and then she paused, and she said, wait, I'm waiting for them to change. It's like I thought that I was working with, let's say, Saint Germain or somebody like that. But maybe not. So I always say, call in 100% pure divine light, just to be sure. And then you ask for your highest and greatest good for yourself and for all concerned. So somebody might have a family issue or a relationship issue. We'll clean up what is needed for that individual and it'll help everyone. So it's pretty fabulous. It's pretty interesting. I'm blown away. And then what happens is I get worked on. So sometimes people get really altered after a session, and it's sort of like channeling, but someone told me, and I don't know if this is true, but the person was very, she channeled the source. She said, I don't do channeling, I do chinning. And I'd never heard that term. And again, I can't find it in a psychic dictionary anywhere or whatever, but it's like I go up and get the information for the person. So it's kind of like searching for the why someone has an issue going on, whether it's physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. And it can be something that you would never think. And so it's like soul homeopathy because I will share what I hear and I see as an image. And that, I can say these words and you guys might be having different thoughts and feelings and images that come through. And somehow that's where the alchemy happens. It's very difficult to talk about something that's invisible, but I'm getting better at it.
Well, no, actually, I dig it. Alchemy is my favorite definition of alchemy, and I love that you said the word to alchemize. It's just simply shifting the lead of the ego into the spirit, the gold of the spirit. So we shift the lead of the ego to the gold of the spirit. That's the Gnostic definition, and I thought that was so rad.
I love it.
Now, what's interesting about, I love when I hear words, and the word is just so fascinating to me. And I love energy healing. Been doing this a long time. We all of us are actually energy healers. Some of us just choose to practice it more, like her. And you make me think about how I need to be practicing. I'll practice in a minute. But here's that word is just such a fantastic word. Transosmosis. Trans meaning to go through or beyond. Okay? And then you have the word osmosis. Now, osmosis is a really super interesting word because if you ever heard of reverse osmosis with water, and it goes and it cleans out and filterizes and makes everything nice and pure and clean. So that's what the osmosis is. So the osmosis is the process of bringing that energy through, cleansing it through the osmosis process, which is simply, like you said, cleaning it. But what did you call it? A hygiene? Spiritual hygiene. Well, actually, I think it's a little bit more than a spiritual hygiene. I think it's a necessary human hygiene that we need.
Yes.
Because we're here having these human experiences, we're spirit, but the fact is I have known and watched people go through some amazing healing, and I'm excited about you, Tracey.
Thank you.
because I think it's important. We need more people who will do this. And why do you think that it's important for you yourself to get worked on? Why should we that are energy healers also get worked on? I know that you said that you're being worked on and stuff, but I'm curious.
Well, I'll tell you the truth. Last Thursday was a day, and I don't know if you guys felt it last Thursday, but it was like, are there solar flares? What is this? I couldn't describe the feeling that was going on. And the closest I could come to it was like, I felt super conscious and totally insecure, amplified. It was just those don't even cover it. And so I had a session with someone, and she was lovely and nurturing and helped me so much. And then I finally sat down and I said, okay, is there anyone on the planet that can help me with this right now? Because I don't know what's going on. And I heard, call Patrick, your chiropractor. So I had an appointment with him the next day, which was great, but I couldn't wait. And I was being an arahata or a teacher for a sacred course that night. So the topic was identity as soul. So that in itself, and I was preparing for a pure consciousness retreat that weekend with the Chi Center. It just goes on and on. Like, I couldn't tell you what was going on. So I said, fine, I'm going to do it for myself. So I went into the living room. I sat down. I filled out my map, and it was like almost everything was circled. I had stuff everywhere. And like the lawnmower, I just pulled it and I took my generational line. And honestly, it was my father's side of the family, 135 generations back. That's huge. My paper goes to 20. So I took everybody, cleaned them up, sent them back to where they needed to go. And then they showed me this scene. And, I can't explain it, but it was like snow. And it looked like snow fences. And then all of a sudden, all this energy came into the scene. And it like blew everything away. And the words were, it blew down the temporary fences. So I think of snow and ice as fear, like in Qigong, it's like breaking up the ice. So I thought, okay, that's interesting. And I thought of the wind and the energy that came, as you could call it the Holy Spirit. God, I don't know. It just cleaned it all out. And I expanded really far, and I had never gone that far before. I feel like Star Trek right now or something. But, and then it turned into a scene where I was looking down at an ocean, and it was like that midnight blue crayon color that you see in the sky, but it was this ocean. And then there was red sand beach. And then it kind of like was just like all this gold light. It's like I didn't have to go into the nitty gritty. It was like the light was doing it. It was changing it. And when I was done, I recorded it. I channeled for myself. And that's kind of a deal. Multitasking, multi-channeling, whatever it is for myself. And then I felt better. And then I went to the chiropractor who confirmed that I had expanded into the supreme realm of yada yada. And I had just never gone that far before. And so when you expand, and I can't explain why it happened, it was like grace. You're not real stable until you keep coming back and you go back out, So I'm in transition. I'm in transmosis. And I've been saying, I've made it up. It's like activate transmosis for all of us right now. Right?
One of your most happy followers actually commented in the live stream. This is from Elena, and she says, transmosis is not just pretty fabulous, it's fabulous, capital letters. She says, I had a transmosis session with Tracey about 3 weeks ago, and it was one of the most powerful healing sessions I have ever had. Tracey is awesome, and transmosis is awesome.
I want to teach this to people. Thank you. I want to take that in for a second because I can usually just keep on going,
Right. Well, it's important. You got to celebrate stuff like that and thank people when they're giving you gifts. So, take that in.
And it's not me. And I think that everyone can do this. And I think that's what I'm supposed to do is bring this body of work and teach others. And truly, the simplest way I could explain it is you connect to yourself and you connect to source, however you think that is, of 100% pure divine light, and then you use the light tools and the phrases or whatever comes in your imagination, and you clean yourself up. Wow. It's important. It's important. And sometimes you need help. You need support. You need help. And another perspective, like when I went to Patrick, it was like, I didn't know who would have the capacity to see to know what I was going through, and he really helped me. So thank you, Patrick O'Keefe.
Two heads, always better than one.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. And what is the saying with Jesus now that Easter's coming and all that? Hey, I was born on Easter. I just thought I'd ramble that out. And so is my son. But it never falls on Easter.
Well, happy birthday.
Yeah.
Coming.
21st. Yeah, the
That's
21st.
awesome.
I'll be 19. Nah.
Me too.
And holding, right? Yeah.
Oh wow! I just now thought of what my next birthday is. I'm just going to sit here quiet.
Oh, I know. Like,
I used to celebrate 29th anniversary, right? So like I had my first anniversary of my 29th year, second, third. I got to the 29th anniversary of the 29th year. I said, okay, I'm done. This is as far as that goes. So yeah, that's all I will admit to. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, but you know what? Energy work keeps you young.
Yes.
yeah.
Fact. It just keeps us young. You know, so
Well, we connect to our true self, you know? Go ahead. Sorry, Debbie. Go.
I want some exercises. I
That's
want
what I was
something I could do today. I know she was going to. I know she was going to say, Debbie,
you got me.
I
Go.
want something I could do before we even end this call. And on my own, and nobody even knows I'm doing it. Just, something like that.
What do you mean? To do?
Some type of mental exercise I could do in the spirit of cleansing my
like is there a piece of
chakra.
transmosis he can do himself?
I would say declare yourself a vehicle for the divine, or whatever term you want to use, and do that every day. I do that every day. I declare myself a vehicle, let's say for Source. I declare myself a vehicle for the Ek or the Holy Spirit. I declare myself a vehicle for myself, because then you're like aligning your soul into being who you truly are. And I'm actually not even thinking who anymore. It's more like a what. What am I? Because we're this energy.
Now you're onto something.
Right? We are God in human form, and it gets a little crowded in here because we're really big, but we think, that we're in this reality here, and there's more to it. If you just quiet your mind and contemplate, I would contemplate love. I would contemplate meaning just being in that word. Be love. Be God. Yes, presence. I wrote a book, and I'm just going to plug myself for 1 second. It was 2 other authors, and it's called The Magi Within, Unlocking the Gifts of the Inner Self. You can get it on Amazon, or go to the website, TraceyWhittet.com, and you can just download it for free, the PDF. And I have the paintings in my living room. If I could take my computer, I'd show you all the paintings, but it's a book about 26 tools, 26 things to contemplate each and every day. And you can just open up the book, and it's A through Z. So A is awareness. You could contemplate awareness, bliss, creativity, dreams, 0 point, imagination, heart, flow. So it's fun. You just kind of contemplate the higher essences of life. And
what's 0 point? I'm sorry.
It's kind of like when you're at the complete center of the beginning of it all. There is nothing. It's like, that's how I started the chapter. What the heck is 0 point?
Yeah.
It's like you're completely centered. You're completely in communion. You are Source. There is nothing attached. You're at that 0 point of creation.
Okay.
Yeah. I can't remember all the technical words for it, but that's what I think it is.
No, it makes sense. It makes sense. I was just trying to line it up with, my terminology for that activity, I should say.
Yeah. When you said exercise, I thought you meant like Qigong or something. I didn't know what you meant.
No, I like to call mental exercises things like affirmations, morning rituals, meditations, anything you do where you proactively do something with your mind, even if it's just be still. I consider that like a different mental exercise. I even came up with something.
What?
Like, you got MMA, mixed martial arts.
Oh.
You got MMA, mental martial arts. Yeah, I mean,
There you go.
mental martial arts, because that's what it's like fighting against the ego. Sometimes it's not just a fist fight. Sometimes he plays dirty, and uses other tactics in warfare.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What I would suggest also is a visualization and an actual practice of breathing, because you have your sympathetic nervous system, which is fight, flight, or freeze, and the parasympathetic, kind of like a parachute, pulls that down into balance. And breathing slowly in and out through your heart chakra in the front and in the back at the same time. You breathe in prana, source energy, and it's kind of like source exhaling into you. Nice. And then when you exhale out the front and the back of your chakra, source is breathing you in and they're inhaling you. And it's just a reconnection. Then I would suggest just sending your energy, your tube of light, all the way down through the center of the earth and connect to the earth into the molten. And you can do it really quick. I've gotten to the point now that I just say return to neutral. So it's like you're in neutral in your heart. You send your energy down to the earth, connect, and then you send your energy all the way up to source. So it's neutral, ground, up. Just whatever terms you want to shortcut that to be. And then declare yourself a vehicle for God.
Sounds like I'm wiring up my kitchen, but I like it because I can feel it. I can see what you're doing. I can see the importance of it and what kind of energy I'll be giving off in that thought process. I love it. I absolutely love it. I've written it down and I'm implementing it into my daily practices. Yeah.
Because what we're doing.
No, I was just going to say, the summit. I'm going to make sure we're going to talk about the summit. Everybody, right. Tomorrow at, from noon to 4 p.m. Eastern time, I have a little thing I do called Neo-Positivity Thoughts Become Things Summit. And we just chop it up campfire style like this, talking about the law of attraction and sharing our tips and secrets. And we take questions from the audience and panels and lightning rounds and stuff like that. We have a good time. But I'm starting to implement this thing where I'm bringing in a specialist on different categories. Like at first I would bring a parenting specialist or a relationship specialist. And now, like at this summit, I got someone coming doing breath work. That's why when you said that, I was like, oh, I got someone coming talking about breath work. Someone's talking about numerology. Someone's going to come and talk about the different laws other than the law of attraction, you know, and so it's going to be a great time. So breath work, that was my whole point behind that. So important. I didn't fully implement that into my life until the last 45 days. Complete different. Everything. However you want to take your mind and shift it and change whatever you're thinking or catch yourself in a bad mood, all of that is so much easier if you add breath work into it. So use it. It's part of your bat belt now. Use it, everybody.
Calms you right down. And
I'm going to post a link to the summit so you guys can get in there.
Do you know why? Do you know why, Neo? You know why breath is so important? I'm going to state the obvious right now. It's the first thing you take when you come in this world. It's the last thing you're taking when you leave. It is your life force, your chi. Yo, get with it. I will be right there with you. I know all these breath work. I have not done I've not done myself justice with the breath work as much as possible. So I'm excited that you're going to have somebody on tomorrow that focuses on breath work. That's very cool.
That is cool.
It's huge. It's huge. It's really changed the way all of my exercise. It's like if you got 50 exercises and you find a way to do them all better. That doesn't come often. And that definitely has strengthened everything.
All right. You're filling those cells up, filling the structure up, filling your body up. But you know, the thing that's the most important thing. And honestly, like, because I had a little bit of a collapsed lung after surgery.
Yeah.
Feeling it expand again and feeling, you know, it's still expanding. I was still not, like, I'll be talking and be like, oh, and it's happening. So I slow the hell down and shut up a little.
So it's a reminder for you. You're basically putting it to work for yourself, essentially.
It took God. Yeah. It took God telling her to get her to finally.
It's never going to work even. I swear. It's just not.
It took God giving me GERD to make me eat right. It really did.
Oh, if that isn't the truth. But why do we wait until we must? Because, you know, I don't know. Why?
Because that's what we do.
My excuse was flavor. Yours was just talking. So you got to work that one.
You know what, Neil? I love that. I do. Actually, I love this because I do talk a lot, and I love how much I talk. My mouth makes me money. Shit, what the heck, man?
Yeah, that's when you talk. Yeah, if your mouth makes you money, spend.
That's right. Do you see that? What? This is, and it's won me awards too. It's pretty rad. Here's the thing, though. There was a time in my life when I talked too much, but I wasn't saying anything. Anybody ever talk too much, but you don't say anything because you aren't really truly expressing anything? You just have all this nervous energy, and you just need to keep talking, because if you just keep talking, then you don't really have to be even present, because you're just, think about it.
Yeah.
When we do slow down and we're quiet and actively listening and reflecting and having an actual conversation, it requires breath. And if I'm not breathing, I'm talking too much.
Well, now you know. That's good.
Oh, well, you're right. Neo, you nailed it. It took a force bigger than me to get me to say, okay, you got to slow down a little bit more, back it up a little bit more, you know?
I think it's funny that you mentioned money and awards as two of the things that talking too much has gotten you. I thought you were going to go for like respect and, you know, looking up to and all that other stuff. That's more of a Debbie answer for me.
Well, here's the thing. My mouth, I could keep my mouth quiet and get respect.
That's true.
Ooh,
that's
nice.
That's true.
The last person in a meeting, like, you know, I'll get really excited about something and I want to talk, but you gotta slow down and allow others to have their space.
Well, we also like the conversational flow to it too, though. And actually, I think this is a good lead-in, because you had our deep dive topic. I want to make sure we get to our deep dive topic. So let's talk. Well, it was the pelvis and the cooch.
Oh, the cooch.
Gooch ball. Gooch. How do you pronounce it?
The cooch.
The cooch.
The cooch
Okay.
ball. I do want to show everybody because it's serious. It's really a thing. It's cooch on one side. It's gooch on the other. This young lady developed this because she was having problems. And here, you want to see it again? There you go. Fantastic. She is a Pilates instructor. She's just incredible. And what she's done is she's helped a lot of people in this world to get stronger pelvic muscles. And on the flip side, it's gooch because it works the same for men.
Okay.
So men that are, there's a lot. You have to go watch my show this morning. I don't want to get all into that, but I do want to talk about the fact that we're talking about breath, we're talking about talking. The diaphragm, she said the diaphragm is the roof, the pelvic floor is the bottom, and then around, so it's a container, and our abs are all around, right? And these muscles. You ever notice when you breathe from the diaphragm, or if you're singing and you're actually using your diaphragm to sing, that your stomach muscles can be sore if you're like me and haven't worked them out in like a couple minutes? Okay. That's how important this is. So if you're just breathing up here, you're not using your diaphragm, what's happening to your pelvic floor, she said? I'm just repeating what she said, the best I can. It's going to be weaker, right? So that's what this ball helps. But the fact of the matter is that we don't talk about the things that are uncomfortable to talk about. But I'm just curious. Why is it so uncomfortable for us to talk about our sexual parts of our body, or not even sexual, our parts of our body that make us a divine feminine and a divine masculine? Let's not even let's keep it what it is, because that's really what it is. It's a sacred divinity space that is being ignored. And we ignore it. Why?
Well, I think you nailed it right there. Well, I mean, you made reference to it. You're kind of taking us away from it, but you made reference. It's the side that's sexual too. I mean, that's where the sexual organs are located.
Did
so
you
we
just
think,
say
okay,
that?
I did. How about that?
Oh my God!
And we have all this long history as a human race of shame and blame and all this, where sex is concerned. So yeah, that's where it comes from. Doesn't mean that we have to stay there, but that's where it comes from.
I think we're slowly as a society, we're moving away from all that, but yeah, it's definitely something that some old person is complaining about somewhere, and it's messing up for everybody else, basically. That's basically.
Look,
years and years.
I grew up, my mom, when I was 3, now this is not going to surprise any of you at all. It doesn't surprise me either. When I was like 3, she said, she was told that she has to teach us the right terms. So she teaches me vagina. And then along comes the neighbor lady. Well, so I just walk right up to her. I'm like, is that your vagina? My mom said she's like, just wanted to crawl under a rock. So, of course, as, I get towards puberty and I just get a library of 4 books. We're not having any more talks. So, and I mean, but there wasn't some open dialogue within my house, that made sex normal, that made that made the most precious parts of our body. This is where we create life. And where we have a lot of pleasure and a whole lot of fun if you're doing it right. Mm-hmm. And if you're not doing it right, you probably need a cooch ball.
I wasn't sure that was possible to do it wrong, but that's an interesting viewpoint. I'm curious about that one.
I picture the birds and the bees talk as you were going, and it went left. It went left. Playing the whole scenario.
No, I didn't go right. What? We're going to just stay at 0 point.
Well, I didn't even know that women, as they age, apparently can have things like, speaking of this pelvic health, prolapse bladder or whatever.
Major big deal.
1, 2, 3, 4, and I think that might be the incontinence and things like that, or not being satisfied, etc. But your little diagram or the cooch ball is a lot more fun than what she suggested. Was like a 7-minute video, and to strengthen the pelvic muscles, it was to have one of those, what a roller looks like when you lay on it or whatever, but it's cut in half and it's like a half moon. And you strengthen your calf muscles, which was like, what? Yeah. And it's and you're supposed to just like arch your foot. And so you have one foot on the half moon and the other foot is standing in front of it, and it stretches you a lot. So it was all about different anatomy than you would think.
That's beautiful. Actually, that's super cool, because she's saying is that it just gets almost atrophied if you're not using it. And you're right, women, as we get older, men, as you get older, you're not waking up, sunrise and shiny. And women, if you're sneezing, you're running. So, I mean, we've got some issues here. And what because if these muscles are atrophied, I mean, think about what an atrophied muscle is. So with women, she says the ones that are already in the prolapse state, it can help. Definitely. So if it's only a 1 or if it's a 2, or working with both her as well and the ball and the doctor is beneficial to see, just how to improve it at least. With men, it's proven to help erectile dysfunction because it's working the pelvic muscles. Because people think about how often you're sitting there and you're just tightened up. You're not even thinking about how you're not in a relaxed state. And I can tell you how. Because if you take a breath right now and everybody just gets all, just drops it, feel that release. I mean, wait a minute, but I didn't feel like that a second ago because I just made the intention to release. That means we're holding ourselves all, however. So it's the idea of working out muscles that we can't get, that we don't normally think about, but we don't think about them because nobody wants to discuss the things that they think are uncomfortable. Especially those that have trauma. Trauma, yeah.
I mean, it does. It makes sense because if any muscle in the body, I don't care where it's located, if you don't use it, it's going to atrophy. It's not going to be doing what it's supposed to do. And heck, I don't even know what half of them are supposed to do. I mean, walking, I can kind of make sense out of that. And, most things that I do with my hands. But beyond that, I don't know what most of them are for. I know the heart muscle keeps me alive. But beyond that, I don't really know a whole lot about it. But I do know I need them. They wouldn't be there otherwise. So it makes total sense to me we should be working all these muscles.
I'm going to say, I just think this woman was brilliant. Look, cooch on one side, gooch on the other. How do you not? And she just...
That's fun.
Both of you share the ball. Here, it's your turn, honey. You sit on this thing for they say you sit on it for 3 minutes. However, if you're having issues, it might hurt, she said. But you can watch my interview with her today. She explains all of it, and it's really, really cool on Spirituality Gone Wild. We also had her on Women Rising last week, which actually I think our Women Rising show was I think she really went more in depth into some of the scientific facts that back this whole thing. But the one thing that has remained the topic has been we need to bring normality into talking about our private parts, however you want it, whatever term you want to use. Now I'm on here, so I'm just keeping my mouth nice and clean, but
I appreciate it, by the way.
You're very welcome. Privately, I would just be
Neil is losing it.
Because Neil, I'm not. I have no qualms. I say what I want when I want.
Yeah.
No, not even within reason usually. Honcho, my husband's on here. Honey.
What's the diameter? What's the size of that ball?
Mine is on its way, so I haven't seen. She was holding it in her hand, and it was like that big. Let's look at it again here. Yeah, it's like to hold in your hand like that.
I picture me walking in one of my friend's house and it's just being, hey, there's a ball, and throwing it for the dog and not knowing that I need some hand disinfectant.
Now he's gonna look at you and go, "Why is it called Neo? What's this gooch? What does that mean?"
Well, to your point, we're just not very aware. We don't notice what's going on in our body. We're so stressed out. We're just like armor, and if you actually stop and breathe and notice, you're like, wow, I am kind of tense. I'm a little uptight. What the heck? Chill out. Not easy in this life.
Breathe. Well, actually, what I do, I have this washing machine that I learned from somebody a long time ago, and I call it the chakra shake. And I start at the top and I just shake it all over, just like a dog or a cat, and I just shake it.
Oh, yeah.
Just shake it. Woo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Moving,
that's good.
Moving
Shake
the
it.
energy. It's not
Shake
stuck
it, shake
anymore.
it, shake it, shake it. Shake
Yeah.
it, shake it, shake it, shake it. And an animal does that to shake off the energy, but we haven't gotten as smart apparently as the dog. Just saying.
Very interesting point. I got a question actually for Tracey, since she's our guest expert today. You are the expert on energy.
Okay.
And what we're talking about here is building up muscle in an area of the body that we normally don't talk about, like you're pointing out, Debbie. And in the process, I am sure we are freeing up energy. Can you kind of address that for a second? From your perspective, with what you've done with energy work, where do you think this may fit into that?
Well, I think that Debbie brought up trauma, and that's definitely something. And I think that even thoughts, like you have in your T-shirt there, thoughts become things. Thoughts can be misperceptions that you hold on to chronically for your whole life with a story.
Most of the time they are.
Yeah, it's just a story. And one of the things I do, and I'll just, the violet light can clean up anything, right? It just clean, clear, cleanse, heal, harmonize, and balance. But sometimes you want to do the agitation cycle in the washing machine and say, scramble, neutralize, and dissolve all negative holographic feeling pictures. Scramble, neutralize, and dissolve all negative holographic cellular memories. Scramble, neutralize, and dissolve all negative beliefs and statements. And it's like, and you let it go. And if it's in those muscles there, if it's in the endocrine system, wherever it is, in a minor or major system of the body, then you have to seal it up. Heal and seal with liquid golden light, activating upward spirals, reversing any and all implosions and contractions. Contraction is fear. We're talking about fear. We're walking around like fear mongers, because we're seeing things incorrectly. We're misperceiving. And just realigning, connecting to the earth, connecting to source, opening our heart. And in access consciousness, we talk about don't shrink, when you feel like somebody's judging you or you feel like something's going on, you can feel it. And one of the tricks you can do is just expand your energy out, because if you were that expanded being, which you really are, but you have that perception, that nitty gritty little energetic hook that they're trying to get you with, or you think they're trying to get you with, doesn't even matter anymore because you've expanded. You're like looking back at the earth and trying to remember that conversation. It doesn't even matter really. So it's about expansion or contraction. And when we're wounded or disconnected, what it looks like, these wounds look like counterclockwise spirals going into the body, or an implosion or a distortion gets pushed a chakra in. You just tell the light to handle it for you with the guide's guidance, and you follow your imagination, and you can clean it up yourself. And then after you're all cleaned up, you anchor and hold it with divine protection of truth, wisdom, and healing love, or some words like that. whatever resonates and comes through you as you are connected to the earth and to source and to your heart. So you really are heaven on earth walking around. If you would actually remember that. Connect.
I love you just said that.
Remember.
I am heaven on earth walking around, baby. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, I could eat that.
And the energy does fill you. It like, can we be breatharians now, please? You know,
I call us amnesic gods. That's what I like to call everyone.
That's cool.
We are amnesic gods, and the sooner we realize, the better we are. Mm-hmm. You know, some people don't. I mean, a cemetery full of people who haven't. I wanted to ask you guys. All right, let's try this. Everybody answer yes or no at the same time. You ready? Let's see. Yes or no? Just like a dog who shakes off the water and sprinkles it on everybody. If you were, let's say, in a public place and you just wanted to cleanse your chakra because that phone call sucked, when you shook it off, would that negative energy actually sprinkle out like the water did onto the people right around you? Yes or no?
No.
Well,
I actually would kind of be not throwing caution to the wind. I'd be careful about it and not even risk that.
Okay. All right. So, Tracey, what you got?
I say no because I set it up kind of like a laundry chute or a trash chute. I just send it down to Mother Earth, and she needs that, and she uses that energy and transforms it. So, yeah, that's my intention, too. I've just set that program up.
Debbie?
Oh, I love that. That was a great one. Because I call in Archangel Michael, who is the powerhouse. I clear, cancel, delete, gone. It's gone. It's a matter, you could literally think of a white light of just burst and your energy's clear. It literally is seconds. It happens instantaneously as your thought does. It's not a human aspect of it. So when we clear energy, you transmute. You transmute it sort of like if it's a selenite. Selenite is a great tool to use, to have around. Yep, there you are. Have your selenite. Yep, there you go. And if you have to, Carrie, if you're out in public a lot, bring that selenite with you. But you know, honestly, even with crystals, and I'm a big crystal, I love crystals. But everything only has the power we give to it because we are sparks of the divine. We are that. So if we give it power, it's got power. No, so yeah. But that's what I have to say about that. I actually am interested, Tracey. You said something about Longmont. Are you in Colorado?
I'm in Santa Fe, New Mexico now.
Okay, all right.
I was for 23 years.
Shoot, I'm headed to Longmont next week, and I was going to come see you.
Wow. A lot of cool people in Longmont. Yep. Lived there 23 years. What are you going to do there?
We're going visiting.
Nice.
I live in Southern California, but we're going to go and visit and do some fun stuff.
Great. Yeah. Nice.
How do we work with you? Oh wait, Neil's got it. What? I see that
thinking.
face. What?
Listening to all your answers. All right, wait a minute. I'm going to put this up. I have to put that up, okay?
Okay. NeilsLOASummit.com.
Yeah, that's just for the screen. The way I kind of see it, I see us walking around like with an aura. And like, let's say somebody has a thought about us, and like Floyd Mayweather and 50 Cent kind of taught me this a little bit. Like if someone has a thought about us, good or bad, the energy wave kind of comes at us, and when it hits our aura, it's how we receive it. We change it to blue or red and let it hit us. So immediately when it hits the aura, it's kind of like clear. And so when I was picturing, shaking off my energy, it was like it left me with color, but as soon as it kind of left my aura, it turned clear again. And so when it sprinkles onto those other people as energy just flows, they're accepting it the way they accept it. That guy thinks I'm fat.
I think that's true.
These people respect me. It just kind of hit me, and I was like, oh, let me throw that out there.
I think it's very
That's
important.
a big probability.
I think it's another piece, though, and this is why I answered the way I did, and that is, I think you're right. Energy is energy. We put our judgments on energy. We say this is good energy or bad energy or whatever, but energy is just energy. Oh, look who's here! Hey, there he is. Hey, guy. But energy is energy. Because energy is energy, like you say, anybody can take the energy the way they want to. By the same token, I want to make sure any energy I'm putting out that's going to reach somebody else, I want to make it as positive as I can. And so that's why I look at it the way I do. I think it's important for me, from my perspective, to do that, just because that's how I live with myself well.
Yeah. He's so funny. Come here more real quick. You got to see this.
I'm all about his right now.
One day he comes out and he's got this is a Buzz Lightyear. Okay, this is his Halloween costume. Okay, the wing, right?
That is great.
He comes to me one day. He's all into Avengers now. He comes to me one day with these glasses on, and I'm like, "Oh man, Buzz Lightyear got glasses," and he says, "No, I'm Falcon," and I'm like, "He made his own costume." I'm like, "Yo, that is just genius." And now because Falcon now has the Captain America shield. He's taking his Captain America shield, so he is all in. But just watching these kids grow and being able to try to implement the law of attraction into someone who doesn't even know what a thought is has been an amazing journey. And it's a constant study every day. And he knows when my shows are ending. He does. He comes in here within the last 5 minutes of all of them and starts showing off his toys. So yes, that's Amor. I named him Amor because I want people to think love every time they say his name.
And it works.
I wanted to subconsciously just be embedded in their minds. I wanted to give that to him. And I wish I knew more about the law of attraction when my other kids were born. But yes, things like that to set our kids up for a great future subconsciously on a level that they don't have to worry about. These are the things that we got to implement early and make sure that we stick with. So, yes,
especially when we have so much to learn from them, because kids have so much to teach us.
Yeah.
I'm just over here for it. He's the cutest thing ever.
That's my little
dude. Like he is so stinking cute. You know that Wayne Dyer and Louise Hayes, that there's some children's books out. I've got my granddaughter some of them, but it's really good stuff to get them into the IMs and the whole. God, that is. I want to know how he has integrated his superhero Falcon. And how, I mean, he's like superstar stuff. You know, he's integrating superhero archetypes already, you know.
Yeah, I try to. Anything I've learned about life, my whole time in the police department, this whole life thoughts become things journey, I'm just trying to get it all into, and he learns fast. He learns from other people's mistakes, and he very rarely repeats his own mistakes. And so I'm like trying to mold him into this perfect law of attraction machine, you know, so that he can just grab life by the kahunas and do what he wants with it, you know, and know that he can do that. I didn't know that I could do that until I was 28. You know, I want him to know early, sooner than later. So yeah, I love it.
That is great.
It's lucky to have you as a dad. He's very lucky.
Thank you so much. I'm lucky to have him too. I'm not gonna say he straightened me out, but I mean, he's definitely giving me something to do every day, and some smiling, and it just makes me laugh and just learning. And I've always had custody of all my kids, so I'm real big on kids. So it's just that be able to have him every day, just me and him here all day, every day. It's cool. I take him to the park and I distance myself. Everything you go through at the park, you're going to go through on your own. Every interaction with a parent, a child, I'll be watching. But you're not going to look over and see daddy coddling. Nah. Because of COVID, he doesn't get out with so many kids as much. So when he goes to the park, I'm like, this is his time. I'm not going, other parents chase their kids around and help them up every slide. And I'm like, no, they got that all day at home with you. Let them learn what it's like.
I agree.
That's a great analogy to Source. That's what Source does for us.
That's right.
That's what I learned. I figure I hit him with it early now. He'll get used to it. By the time he's, like our age, he'll be a freaking ace at all this stuff. So
right.
That's the
goal.
Be
like that dog just shaking it off.
Yeah. Pretty much. That was great. Yeah. I want to know how to get a hold of you, Tracey.
Yeah, let's get the Tracey ticker up here and tell people about where to find your stuff and what to do and how to join your program and all that stuff.
Oh, thank you. I think just going to TraceyWhittet.com. I just rebranded myself anyway, so now it's just my name. And there's a place that you can schedule an appointment with me on Zoom or in person. I do in person in Santa Fe and Albuquerque, but if you're far away, that's fine. We can do it on Zoom and it works just as well. There's a place on the website where I write blogs, quatrains, 4 lines just come in all the time. So I post those up there for anyone that wants to read those musings. And my book is on there, The Magi Within. And then there's a way that you can get a free copy of it, a PDF. And it's just kind of fun to have, or you can have the hard copy from Amazon, whichever you like.
Do you have an audiobook?
Not yet. Nope. I know.
That's what everybody's waiting for. That car ride to work and that car ride home. That's what everybody's
Right.
waiting for.
Okay, thank you. I'll do that
audiobooks
next.
are popular now. Definitely,
I'm
you get more readers that way by listening. You know.
And everything in Florida is an hour away, so we need
Right.
them.
Okay. All right. Cool. This has been a pleasure. Thank you all for inviting me. It's fun. You guys are
Thank you
fun.
for joining us.
Thank you. Yeah.
And by the way, thank you for also being part of our first attempt to do deep dive with a guest, because I think what you did very nicely is prove how well it works. So your
Yeah.
perspective was very valued and very much appreciated. Thank you. very
Oh,
much for
thanks.
coming. Yeah.
I call that divine dialogue. You just kind of like, this is fun. It's real conversation. It's great.
Exactly.
Love it.
Exactly.
Thank you.
All right. And Debbie and Neil, as usual, thank you so much. Neil, I was so glad. I wasn't sure you were going to make it, Neil, so I was really glad when I saw your face on there. That was fabulous.
Traffic, man. I should have been home 45 minutes before I was. And it's just Florida sometimes. But you know what? It's meant to happen. We rolled and we killed it. We killed it.
We
I feel
did. It
great
was
about
beautiful. And Debbie, I'm
It's
loving that
tomorrow. I
you're
feel great.
I'm loving that you're feeling so much better. I'm loving that you're healing so well. So congratulations on that. And thanks once again for all the stuff that you're doing, including what you've been doing on Spirituality Gone Wild. That's been just fabulous.
Thank you.
yeah.
It's, you know what? I just love being here and I love showing up, and I am appreciating so many people out there doing great work in the world that need to be seen. And if you go to the page, you're going to see a lot of awesome stuff. There's so much happening. I've got a self-love and care fest coming with the women of Unify Women Rising, and this is going to be ginormous, huge for the entire month. And now this is not just for women either. This is for both. Self-love and care fest, and we'll be talking about that in Neo, about what that looks like. But tomorrow morning, please, if you can't check out Unify Women Rising right at 9:00 a.m. Pacific time, because Neo's summit's on, we have a replay. So don't miss Neo's summit. You can always catch Unify Women Rising on the replay. It's not even a thing. You can go. It's easy. Just go to Unify. You'll find us right there on Facebook. And make sure that you're going over to loatoday.net, please, and signing up for the email list and the podcast so that you can go and catch any episodes that you've missed, because every single day, Walt comes out here every single day and holds space.
And kills it.
For all these people. Seriously. Yep.
Even when I don't have a voice, which is really something.
I don't even know.
Voice without a voice.
I'd like to say if I sounded like you, I probably wouldn't do it, but that's not true. We love what we do.
Yeah.
We do. It's true.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys very much. Thank you, people who are listening to the live stream and sharing your comments. We appreciate you. Thank you to our podcast listeners everywhere. And we will see you all next time here on LOA Today. Goodbye, everybody.